Okay. Okay. That's how I start pretty much all of my videos, with an okay or a so. 3 minutes later, so we're on lesson 144. Yeah, lesson 144. Got my Jesus notes ready because it's pretty quick today. We're still in that review. We are still reviewing every day. My mind holds only what I think with God. Very interesting concept, thought, the more you do it. My mind holds only what I think with God. So today we're reviewing lesson 127 and 128. You may remember these, Sadie, because I think you quit after 128. Okay, so 127 was there is no love but God's. Okay, all right, okay, all right. And then 128 was the world I see holds nothing that I want. And then I think, yeah, that was the one that I took a real long break and was just like, I hate this world. And then when we came back, it was like, beyond this world, there is a world I want. Don't stop with just lesson 128. And I was like, whoopsie daisy, I stopped at 128. All right, but anyways, nonetheless, slow progress for me in these videos, absolutely. But we're now up to 144 during this review period. And so, yeah, I mean, I do need to be reminded to keep going. You need to be reminded to keep going. It does take discipline to keep going, but here we are. There is no love but God's. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Which explains every day why I don't want to go to work. But anyways, here's Tina Jesus, and then, yeah, I do actually have to go to work. Tina Jesus with lesson 144, this review period, did say, that Course in Miracles lessons are challenges to the ego mind. You're going to be challenged every day as you embark on this study. Why? Because we have been taught for years and years and years. We've been indoctrinated over the course of our lives that we are separate and our thoughts are our own. And so when we hear that we hold thoughts with God and we're one with God, we're like, no, we're not. We're separate, because that's what we've been taught. The other thing that we have been taught over the years is that survival is our number one goal. The ego tells us we must keep the body alive above all else. And this is pounded into our heads over the years. Jesus used the example of just being forced as a child to finish our plates. We may not remember how traumatic that was, but now that we're grown-ups, we might have body issues or weight issues or food issues. And that stems back to when we were a child. So when you start to look at programming and all the programming we've endured and continue to endure with this reality of indoctrination, the trauma is deep in the subconscious mind. And that's why the lessons challenge the ego's thoughts, because it challenges the programming. So A Course in Miracles is also programming in a gentle way. It's gently reprogramming you back to the truth. And yes, your ego will try to warn you and freak out and tell you to run away from this crazy Course in Miracles craziness, because it doesn't want to be challenged. It does not want for you to find the truth. So do your lessons faithfully anyways. Why? Because your mind is becoming more peaceful. You're noticing it in yourself. You are recognizing where you're holding trauma and recognizing where you really do want to reprogram your mind gently with A Course in Miracles back to the truth, back to becoming more peaceful. And I can definitely tell you from an experienced student who has quit multiple times, I keep coming back to A Course in Miracles because it gives me something. It helps me with something. Yes, I'm the first one to shout out, okay, that's crazy. But it works somehow. The undoing of a lot of the programming. that helps me with my forgiveness, that helps me gain more peace, that helps me get through the day, that just helps me feel better inside. And you can use any words you want, whether that's because I'm getting closer to God or hanging out with the Holy Spirit or Jesus being my main bestie. But it really does work, because once you realize all the stuff that you are holding deep in your unconscious, subconscious, whatever conscious mind that bubbles up and disturbs you and keeps you in attack and keeps you down in the trenches, you eventually do want to lift up into the upper room where, yeah, it might still just be a dream here, but it's a better dream. It's a peaceful dream, and it's the one that I choose. So anyways, it is a goal of mine to keep going with these this year, make these videos, stick with it, just see how it evolves me as a person, because I do keep going back to the Course in Miracles time and time again. And each time I do read this book, like, I find something new in it. I find something that just undoes more of my ego mind. And the more I do that, the happier I is. Yep. Pathwaysoflight.org. Welcome to the reading, A Course in Miracle Workbook Lesson 144 Insights. Review. My mind holds only what I think with God, and there is no love but God's. The world I see holds nothing that I want. As I take the time to do this lesson this morning, I am struck by how important this practice is in readying my mind to open to God's love. Taking this time to open my mind and let it be cleared and quieted of all worldly thoughts, I receive the blessing of God's peace and joy. I see how important it is to return to this quiet place in my mind that is always there. It is only through consistent practice with opening up to the sacred place in my mind that I recognize its value. As I go through my day, all the worldly activities seem so important. But I am learning that nothing is more important than opening my mind to God. Nothing is more important than opening my mind to the truth of what is real. Then, when I go back to my daily activities, I can practice bringing that feeling of God's presence with me. There is nothing more important than God's love, because nothing else is real. Anything that changes is part of the illusion. Within my mind, there is a sacred place that is eternal. And what is in that sacred place is what I am and what everyone else is. In truth, my mind holds only what I think with God, and that is eternal. I am determined to rest in God today as I practice the hourly remembrances. The ego loves to keep the mind preoccupied with busy doings in the world. It always has a to-do list that includes more than can possibly be done in the time available. As long as I let the ego be my guide, my mind will be preoccupied with seeming thoughts that block my awareness of the thoughts I share with God. If I place priority on the ego's list, I shut God out and keep myself separate and alone. I don't have time to quiet my mind and become aware of the thoughts of love I share with God. All the striving and doing of the ego come from the belief that there is something I see in the world that I want. Somehow accomplishing the to-do list will get me what I want. If I look beneath the layers of form, I see that what I think these forms will offer me have something to do with specialness in some way. Specialness is the ego's substitute of God's love. Today's lesson is telling me that there is no love but God's. And that is why nothing I see in the world offers me anything I want. Specialness is an empty substitute for love. It is important that I take the time to quiet my mind and open to the awareness to the thoughts of love that I share with God. This is what I truly want. This is where I will find the only love there is in truth. This is where I remember my source. From this place of remembrance, I can return to my list of to-dos with a new perspective. No longer is the list a means of being stressed and isolated. It now becomes a means of extending love. Some things on the list may be dropped entirely, for they are seen as having no purpose. Others are given a new purpose. The form of doing may remain the same, but the content now is love. Holy Spirit, help me today to follow your lead in all my doing, that I may use every moment as an opportunity to extend love. pathwaysoflight.org. So there you go, Sadie. Don't just go to work and get that to-do list done. Get it done with love. Get it done with new meaning. So we're all trying our best, or trying good enough, Lesson 144, my mind holds only what I think with God. There is no love but God's. So I do really like the part in the Pathways of Light where it was saying, like, when I can get into that place of stillness and peace, that's what I am. That is what I am, and that is what everybody else is. And that particularly helps me look past the world of form, look past the world of bodies and to-do lists and my house versus your house and my plant's bigger than your plant, Not that I'm comparing plants, okay? But also the world I see holds nothing that I want. So kind of releases you a bit from the acquisition of material things and stuff and experiences, like really prioritizing connecting with God's love and peace as your number one aim for the day. If you had a number two aim, make it on your list, extending love in everything you do. Now that will be a challenge for the ego, but it's a worthy, awesome challenge indeed, because once you start doing that more as your natural set point, you won't mind that to-do list and you'll see it in a whole new brand new way. Time for breakfast. Yes, I'm doing it in the morning this time because I really want to stick with this, you guys. All right, here we go. Get back to being a clapper. Bye.